Hello and welcome to CVR English news channel. This is Sudhakar Sharma with the big story of the day. The Andhra Pradesh government seems to be in a kind of standoff with the State Election Commission. The Election Commission on Saturday issued the notification for conduct of elections to Gram Panchayats in Andhra Pradesh, the first phase of which will be held there on February 5th, and in the first phase, Gram Panchayats under 144 revenue mandals in 11 districts will go to polls, according to the notification issued by State Election Commissioner Nimagadda Ramesh Kumar. Well, there seems to be a kind of standoff between the AP state government and State Election Commission. The State Election Commission called the Gram Panchayat elections historic given the circumstances under which they were being held. People are very enthusiastic to take part in the particular election process. It is, of course, a major challenge for the Commission to conduct the polls against the odds, the Election Commissioner Ramesh Kumar was stating. So it's a kind of challenge. Panchayat elections are not being held in the first phase in Vizianagaram and Prakasham districts. The elections will be held on a political basis. Addressing a press conference, the SEC said it was the responsibility of the state government to ensure that the elections were conducted in a smooth manner. Ultimately, the government will have to face the consequences if anything doesn't go well, he observed. Kumar also said he had apprised the governor of the prevailing situation. I will continue to keep reporting to the governor on the poll process. If required, I will submit a report to the Supreme Court as well, he said, while referring to the defiant stand being adopted by Jagan Mohan Reddy regarding the conduct of the particular elections. Well, the Panchayat poll process, which started earlier, was halted by the onward march of this COVID pandemic. The Panchayat election process that has started in the month of March 2020 has seen many twists and turns, and it has resulted in a long legal battle between the state government and the SEC. The decision to postpone the elections by SEC was first challenged by the state government, but it was upheld by the apex court later. The state government brought in ordinance replacing Nimagada Ramesh Kumar as SEC, which is again challenged by later, and the audience was subsequently set aside. Even after reinstatement of Ramesh Kumar as SEC, the fight between the both institutions continued as he moved High Court, alleging that the state government was not cooperating with him to conduct the elections. After a court verdict directing the government to cooperate with the SEC, election proceedings were issued, which is again challenged by the state government. Though the High Court directed to hold the elections in parallel with the vaccination program, it appears that the fight between SEC and the state government is far from over. Well, the State Election Commission was really apprehensive that there is some kind of stiff resistance from the state government. On the other hand, Nimagada Ramesh Kumar said that the election process will continue as per the schedule, and the notifications will be issued for 4 phases of the elections on the respective dates as announced. He also held a meeting with the election officials after the High Court verdict to take stock of the election preparations. Elections to local bodies became not only another contentious issue, but had caused a kind of direct confrontation between the Chief Minister Jagan Mohan Reddy and the State Election Commissioner, a constitutional authority, after the later put off the poll process when the coronavirus started spreading and the whole nation went into a kind of lockdown. The government had sacked SEC Nimagada Ramesh Kumar through an ordinance which he termed as a part of reform process, but the courts struck it down and restored him to the post. Well, there seems to be a kind of cold war going on between the AP state government and the State Election Commission. The hostilities between the Election Commission and the government continued, with the long overdue elections to be the local bodies becoming a kind of casualty, the government order notwithstanding. So it's a kind of tussle going on. The High Court last order on Thursday accepted aside the single judge order suspending notification issued by the State Election Commission SEC for conducting local body elections. The High Court Division Bench headed by Chief Justice Arup Kumar Goswami and Justice Praveen Kumar allowed the appeal petition moved by SEC directed to conduct the elections to the Gram Panchayat simultaneously with the vaccination program smoothly and successfully. Contained in the order of the High Court suspending the election proceedings, Senior Counsel Aditya Narayan Rao argued on behalf of SEC that the single judge erred in his judgment while deciding that the consultation process was not taken up in accordance with the earlier order of the Supreme Court and also the High Court. He also told the government that the vaccination program cannot be a ground for seeking postponement of elections, which is a constitutional obligation to fulfill. The State Election Commission believes very firmly that the state elections for the Gram Panchayats could be held simultaneously with that of the vaccination process, as the vaccination program is only confined to the limited number of frontline workers in the phase 1 and it would not be any hindrance for holding the Panchayat elections, he said. The Advocate General, on the other hand, argued that the decision to hold the elections was taken in haste with a bent in the mind of the Election Commissioner. So there seems to be a kind of divergence in the opinions between the government higher-ups and also the State Election Commission. But the notification has already been given, so we have to wait and see as how the elections will take place. However, the AP government has surprisingly neither substantiated its views nor its allegations. The state government has not explained as to how in pursuing legitimate exercise the commissioner has been acting malafide in the sense of pursuing an illegitimate claim. The bench further said that it would slow down the process and it would have adverse inferences unless material of higher order of credibility is placed before the court regarding the malafide when imputations are attributed to the holder of an office discharging highest responsibility as the State Election Commissioner. the High Court has made its reference to an interesting case, that of Kishan Singh Tomar case, considered to be the landmark judgment by Supreme Court, in which it was said that the elections to the local bodies should be held immediately after expiry of the term, and the SCC can approach courts if it feels that it is not receiving cooperation from the respective state government. So it was a kind of interesting statement which is given, and the allusion to allegation which is made by the state government can well be answered by this kind of High Court ordering a kind of this case. And well, this brings us to the end of the big story of the day. We have come to the end of it, and this is Sudhakar Sharma signing off. Thank you.